dissemination of information among colleagues of yours is a very difficult process. My life has been about getting the information to the patients so that they understand it. And now they've become the educators to doctors in their areas. Is there anything else advocates can do to help this process? Because as a young patient, I go into new doctors all the time and they're like, what do you know about this? And then I'm throwing words out like hypermethylation and their eyes go wide. Are you in the field? And I'm like, no, this is my life. So being young on top of it is another hurdle that we have to go over just to get our voices to be heard. So is there something that advocates can do to help increase the quality of information that we're giving to our doctors so they can understand that, yes, we do know what we're talking about when it comes to this specific GIST. It's not the protocol that is placed for the adult GISTs. So what can we do?
The need for that.
I mean, I think, philosophically, I'm having a deck built. I'm getting 3 bids from contractors, right? If you go to see a doctor and your life's on the line, you should have the right to interview your doctor and decide, is this the right person for me? They might be really smart, but maybe it's not the right personality match. And I think I think the informative question is, how many patients like me have you seen in the last year? And if the answer is 1, then no matter how smart that person is for lots of other things, for the one thing that you have, I would not see that person. I would find somebody who's seen more. And I think interviewing your doctor is your right.
I'm the opposite. I use it as a hurdle, so I'm like, I want to teach this person, so if they see another person like that, then they have a little bit more information, or at least know where to go to get said information.
But I think that experience counts. My philosophy is, what is rare belongs to places where it is common.
That's where the line in between
I think it's important. Because it's your health.
What I can say as an advocate is, for me, finding a doctor who is presented with something they don't know a lot about, they should be saying, wait, I don't know a lot about this. Tell me where I can go to learn more. If you have a doctor that is coming at it that way, I think that
it's valuable to have that doctor in your
Or can I just encapsulate this whole conversation? How about when you have a doctor that says, the intern actually literally told us this, I don't have time to learn about this.
Then I would run as fast as I could away from that doctor.
I have so many tumors I'm trying to learn about right now. I don't think so.
This is obviously been a nerve.
I just want to, I have to disagree a little bit with my more medicine-oriented colleagues. So I'm a pediatric oncologist, so I take care of kids, and all childhood cancer is rare. And particularly the solid tumors, which are what I do, are extraordinarily rare. And there are many times where we're taking care of the only patient that we've ever seen, or even that's ever been at my institution in 10 years, and I'm at Dana-Farber. So I think that what you can't always, and young people, their parents work, they have siblings who go to school, they go to school, they can't always afford to be, traveling, they can't always afford to pick up and move to be close to a physician who has expertise, particularly if they're getting, frequent monitoring or ongoing chemotherapy. So I'm sorry, but I have to, they can't all go to the NIH. And so, hold on, excuse me, Dr. Heinrich, can I finish? So I do think, though, if you're in that circumstance where you're, both parents are working, you've got other kids are in school, your child wants to stay in school, and you have an oncologist that's close to where you live, and you need that person because you have to be able to go get, blood testing or call them if you develop a rash. That person needs to be able to listen to you, to accept the information that you have, and to be able to be willing to share the care with somebody who is an expert. And it is very helpful if you can travel to see that expert, on occasion, once a year, once every other year, and that expert be able to occasionally review scans. That, I think, in my opinion, is a very workable relationship. I have that relationship with a lot of patients who have a local oncologist. And also, I'm not an expert in some of the rare tumors I see. I have that relationship for some of the patients I'm taking care of where I'm not the expert in that particular disease. So I think in adult cancers, it may be a bit easier to, frequently travel to an expert center. I think when you're in a family construct and you're younger and there's so many considerations, it can be much more difficult.
I think we're all saying the same thing. There is a need for a patient with a rare disease and his doctor to reach out to an expert. Through the doctor and the hospital where you're at, and you don't want to travel anywhere. Or whether you actually travel to the expert at the NIH, it doesn't really matter. As long as, and that is, I think we all agree on, I think we just identified that, there has to be an expert for the disease involved. And you know, I see patients I'm not an expert on too, but I make every effort to reach out to the expert. I just listened to a patient that came to my clinic with a very rare endocrine condition that I knew nothing about. I'm very interested in seeing this patient, but I told her, I think the expert is at UVA, he recently moved to Duke, let me try to find out where he's at. I went, found the original email, found the email where he's at now, and I made the contact. And it's up to the patient whether the patient can travel or will not travel. But the point is that we all agree to it. In a rare disease, you cannot afford not to receive the expert's opinion. I don't have, perhaps, in an ideal world, the expert involved in the care decisions.
Just one thing to add, because you really put the finger on the pulse. I have to 100% agree with Dr. Janeway. And as a matter of fact, it's something that many of you, some of you, sitting in the audience, know firsthand. We have been able to hold relationships, and sometimes really close relationships, emails, phone calls, pictures of scans over emails, keep aside, and things like that. And with esteemed colleagues who are in very reputable medical centers who have come to us and said, I've never seen one of these patients in my life, what should we do? And that's absolutely okay. The red flag is that esteemed colleague who is very reluctant to get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion. And really, with many of the phone calls that come to us at the NIH clinic, not during the clinic, like sometime in December or sometime in January, what ends up happening is that sometimes when my colleagues, my local colleagues and I have a question, I have a whole network of colleagues to whom I can reach and say, John, is this what you will do? This person lives in South Carolina, maybe Miami is closer. Dr. Hellman is on speed dial for me, and so on and so forth. Dr. Laguaglia, I want his email occasionally. So that is something that really works, and that's the true spirit of collaboration. So yes, you need somebody who knows, but you don't need to move across the pond, but you need a doctor who's really willing to play ball.